Joanna, we'll start with you. Before becoming the CEO of TechCity, you were a vice president at Facebook, as we heard from Carolyn Everson earlier, and president of Bebo, and you started your career in Silicon Valley. So I'm going to ask the obvious question. Are you trying to recreate Silicon Valley here in the UK?
Well, yeah, it's a question that everyone asks us, so I'm really happy that you brought it up today, because I think the most important thing to note is that every city or region has its own sort of strengths, and from the universities that are there, from the companies that were born there and succeeded there. And so the culture of TechCity or any of the other 20-some clusters across the UK all have a different feeling and culture. So we have 8 great technology areas in the UK that we're good at, things from space to satellites to semiconductors, as well as digital media and tech, which you find a lot of in East London, digital printing, 3D printing. So it's a really diverse set of technologies, but each of the clusters has their own identity and their own strengths.
One tends to think of entrepreneurs as a little bit of lone rangers, that they, especially in today's environment where there's so many technological tools available to entrepreneurs, you could get started anywhere in the world.
And I think the reality is you can get started anywhere in the world. We find ourselves in places like Minsk, which if you haven't been to, I wouldn't really recommend going. and the reason is because the cost and the ease of starting companies has just gone in different directions, right? 10 years ago, you would have to pay hundreds of thousands of dollars a month just to sort of have bandwidth access, and that's now going to cost a few thousand. You would have to employ tens of engineers to sort of write the code, and now you have open source software. You'd have to spend a lot in marketing to actually sell your product, and now you access the hundreds and millions of users, whether on Amazon, on Google through just buying AdWords, or on the iPhone, or even Android. So the whole ecosystem, or the reason people get started and the ability to get products to market is fundamentally different than it was 10 years ago. And as a result, we really say that Silicon Valley does not have a monopoly on innovation, and it doesn't. So we see great companies everywhere.
How much of running a business versus starting a business is access to human capital?
This is all about the people. If you think about what creates a cluster, why is Silicon Valley what it is? It's people, it's ideas, and of course it's all the enabling institutions, whether that's government, it's patent laws, it's immigration reform, it's money, which is what we represent, but it's really a combination of those three. And the places that are the most clustered are the most mature. So if you really think about why people go to a hub, or whatever you want to call it, it's really around talent. And it can be different talent. It can be commercial talent, or it can be tech talent.
It sounds like you're saying Silicon Valley might be a little over, though.
What a thing to say. The way I think about Silicon Valley is it's not just a collection of ingredients. I think of it truly as a philosophy. It's a brand. And what it is the fundamental belief that not only is it a possibility, but that success is your prerogative. It's that unfettered belief you see in a 20-year-old entrepreneur.
Is that audacity American, or is that unique to that particular part of the world? Could you have that mentality anywhere else?
So we also have this debate all the time, and when we first got started, it was like, there's no way there's venture capital is possible anywhere else. I won't bore you with that debate, because we've had some great companies being produced in this region and globally. I think it has a lot to do with culture, a lot. But beyond that, it's to do with the fact that it's possible. The US really celebrates its success. We don't do that in other countries.
The mentality in the US is such that everyone believes they can be a success, they can be an entrepreneur, they can be a Mark Zuckerberg.